Thanks, Shannon. You could call it an exodus from the Golden State. About 691,000 people moved from California last year. This, according to newly released census data. And this is hardly a one-time event. A local news outlet reporting it's the 7th year in a row that more people left the state than moved in. Joining me now is Steve Moore. He's economist at the Heritage Foundation. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Ed.
So what's happening in California? We talk about it all the time, the high taxes, the regulations, and all the rest.
You know, I do a report every year for a group called ALEC, called Rich States, Poor States, where we look at these migration trends. And it's unbelievable. Over the last decade, 1 million more Americans have moved out of California than moved in. And this new data is just reflecting a continuation of a trend. And by the way, Ed, how do you screw up California? I mean, it is a
great
paradise,
weather,
you know, beautiful weather, beautiful mountains, the technology capital of the world. And yet, I just have to say, I think it's the high taxes, the high regulation, the high housing costs are just driving middle-class people out. And by the way, it's the middle class that's leaving. So, you know, California is becoming a state of super rich people who live in Silicon Valley and very poor people and homeless people in a lot of these cities. It's a sad situation.
Apple and other companies now trying to step in and deal with the housing crisis. People are skeptical that it's going to make a difference. Look at this from the LA Times. Quote, a major reason is their disenchantment with deep blue California's liberal political culture. They were fed up with high taxes, as you mentioned, lukewarm support for local law enforcement, and policies they believe have thrown open the doors to illegal immigration. Sanctuary cities, a sanctuary state, in fact, is a factor.
So this is another point about the demographics of who's moving out. This is the first time we're actually looking at, you know, the party affiliation of people. And conservatives in California feel that they're under siege. And they just, you know, people, even in Orange County, which is the one area of California that's pretty conservative, even there they feel like they're just outnumbered and they're not welcome. And, you know, there's a political correctness in California. If you go to California and you say, you know, wear a, you know, Make America Great Again hat, you're going to be mugged. I mean, it's a really bad situation there. The other thing, of course, is taxes, Ed. The highest income tax rate in California is the highest in the United States, 13.5%. Where do you think so many of these people are moving to? I'll tell you, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Nevada. What's similar about those states? No income tax at all. I mean, I've talked to people literally can buy a new home for just the amount of money that they're saving in taxes by moving out of California.
So in our final minute, what kind of political impact may we see? Maybe not as early as 2020, but beyond. We hear about changing demographics. If you have conservatives moving out of California, going to states like Florida and Nevada, does that help the GOP in the election?
That's a good question. It's murky. We don't know, because you talk to people in Nevada and Colorado. Colorado used to be a red state. Now it's a pretty purple state. And you ask people there in Colorado, they say, well, that's because all these Californians are moving in. But now we're seeing the conservatives moving out of California. And I think it could, you know, mean more congressional seats in these red states like Texas and Florida. And by the way, don't forget Tennessee. You know, Nashville, Tennessee is like the fastest growing city in the country.
Steve Moore, appreciate you coming in.
Hey, Ed.